big, broad area to watch that's going to bring a surge of moisture, especially into Florida. This is America's Morning Headquarters. I'm meteorologist Stephanie Abrams alongside meteorologist Jordan Steele and Reynolds Wolf.
Good morning, everybody. Florida in for repeated downpours, the potential for flash flooding, not just through the weekend. Man, this thing could go all the way into next week, Reynolds.
That's right. You could throw some difficulties, maybe a wrench in whatever plans you have for the 4th of July celebrations or your trip to the beach and theme parks. Good news, though, the rest of the country does not look that bad over the next few days. We're going to let you know where the storms could impact your travel plans and anything you have in the great outdoors.
Great. Yeah.
That's fantastic. But first, we want to start in Atlanta. Well, day we're still getting in the southeast, but this front is going to push south as we head into our Thursday. So Thursday and Friday in the southeast are actually looking really, really nice. It's Florida that is going to stay unsettled because as this boundary pushes through and lingers in this area, you can get low pressures to develop. And the reason being is this is a low pressure. It's just extended out. All right, it's just kind of like an elongated low pressure, if you will. So it could tighten up, and we could potentially get tropical depression, maybe a subtropical depression from this. But there's still a lot of time, and there's a lot of questions around this. And one of the questions is, where exactly does that spin start? If it starts over land, it makes it a lot harder for these systems to turn into anything. Now, a 40% chance of development. If we see it right now, the models are showing off the southeast coast, though the GFS wants to bring the energy in a little bit sooner, so I'll show you that. But notice the Euro has it a little bit higher, but see how it's kind of straddling over into Florida? So if this thing has, half itself in the ocean and half itself in Florida, it could make for difficulty for this to become a tropical depression. If it's all over this warm water, then we could certainly more easily see a tropical depression. Now, regardless if this is a TD, if this is a named system, it's going to mean rain for Florida. Chantal is the next name on our list. Yes, we've already had Andrea and Barry, and that is an area where we do see development typically in July. So let's look at the models here. This is a Euro. You can see the boundary coming down the front and all of this energy too. See how it's very broad? It eventually looks a little bit tighter, but not super great. It's trying to, as we get into the weekend and into next week. And by the way, there's not a lot of moisture with this either when it's coming into the southeast. Now, the GFS has it a little more intense, but there's your boundary coming down. You see more spin in the atmosphere. And so there it is a little more intense, but notice the positioning of it a lot farther south coming into the southeast. So we will continue to watch this, but as I mentioned, there's your front. You see the moisture up into Georgia, South Carolina, and obviously moisture over the Gulf and the Atlantic. That comes down. So we clear out in the southeast for Thursday, Friday. It's Florida that gets all the rain, and then there's that moisture coming in, but it's not tons as we get into next week. Reynolds, we might be able to wipe out the drought here in Florida in some locations, which would be a real positive out of this.
We could all use a silver lining, no doubt about it.
Talk about traveling to the fireworks show because there's a lot of people that are going to be on the move this week. If you are leaving today on this Wednesday, the worst time to travel is essentially all day, and it's only going to get worse as we get closer, as you can imagine. 12 p.m. to 9 p.m., terrible travel. So unless you get up and go early this morning, you're going to run into a lot of traffic. We have our boundary that is down more in the southeast and just hanging off the east coast here. But overall, there is pretty clear skies in a lot of places, with the exception of Texas and Florida. So a lot of these hubs, Chicago, Atlanta, Dallas, hopefully we will be making all these connections with ease and no problems as we have a lot of green on the map. Unfortunately, a lot of issues yesterday in the Northeast as that boundary was coming through. I think because we're clearing, things will be improved in the Northeast as we head through the day. It's really Florida where we are going to have some of the problems with any travel and some flights. So as we go into our Thursday, really heat is the biggest issue that you're going to have to deal with if you are doing anything on Thursday. Some fireworks shows are on Thursday night, as a matter of fact, and it's going to be hot. Look at Bismarck at 96, Denver 92, the 90s here along the East Coast. And so I don't think flying is going to be an issue, again, unless you're going to Florida in and out of there. Driving will be fine. We do have rain, unfortunately, on the 4th, as Jordan was just mentioning, in the center of the country. But otherwise, it's the 90s that are going to be ruling the earth here, or I guess the U.S. Boston is beautiful, though, at 82 degrees and some sunshine. Again, a lot of people may be traveling in early on the 4th, so you can go right to the fireworks, right to the barbecue. Shouldn't have any problems there. But there will be some cloud cover in the center of the country for any of those fireworks show. Kind of more the same on Saturday. Weather is not going to be very shy, and that's in the state of Florida. We have been seeing very dry conditions, and we just showed you that drought monitor, but we are going to get a little help from a boundary coming through and some upper level energy. Notice that we really need the rain into South Florida, Miami. Remember, right about here is where we saw extreme drought pop up in this last week. Up to Tampa, 2.5 below. Orlando, we're about average. Same into Jacksonville. Tally in the Panhandle, we're actually above average by 1.25 inches. In fact, we don't have that drought monitor. We don't have any drought issues into the Panhandle for us. But we are going to get a lot of rain. Places like Gainesville, we're actually down 2.8 inches. So we could make that up with just this moisture that's coming on as we head through our Monday. Let's have a look at what we're going to deal with. Gainesville, there's Tallahassee. You see how close these two rivals are, Florida and Florida State. Very, very close there. Just a quick ride up 75, and then over on Tallahassee, it only takes about 2 hours. And you'll see the scattered storms that pop off onto our Thursday. Some of these are going to be a little bit heavier. If you're in Jacksonville thinking about going to Jack's Beach, they also have that adventure landing. It has a water park, the alligators, the laser tag. It's like one of these just kind of theme parky things on a small scale in Jacksonville that you can do. It's going to be stormy for that, so you might go on a ride and then it gets shut down and go back out. Friday was really the best day with the sunshine. Otherwise, it's stormy, and it's not just Jacksonville. It's really all of Florida that's going to be dealing with this. Remember, Tampa's 2.5 inches below average on rainfall. Our average high this time of year, 91 degrees. Not only could we make up with the rain that's coming in, our deficit, this is going to help keep some of those temperatures at bay. But it's a little deceiving in Florida. Even when you have the clouds and stuff, it's still just hot. It is so humid. It's so sticky out there. So keep that in mind. It's not like you're going to need a jacket per se until you go into a building and then everything's freezing. Tampa, also the same. Scattered showers and thunderstorms with this basically eroding front and boundary that we have. Orlando, more of the same, but notice the temperatures are going to be a little bit cooler, just a smidge. And down into South Florida, where we really need it, from West Palm, Boca, Fort Lauderdale, Hialeah, all the way down into Homestead, Miami, and all the surrounding areas. We are also going to see storms. I think that this will cause a lot of issues with flights because you see all those big thunderstorms firing up. Not only do planes have to navigate around at Jordan, they're just maybe not going to be able to take off and land if it's right over the
Yeah, good point.
airport.
And that could last several hours, too.
It is time to do a little traveling, and you might think, oh, good. We're going to get some cold air coming in. There's a cold front coming.
Yay!
Not so fast.
Oh.
I know. It's kind of like those cheers. That works, too.
That was really good.
That was really good. He's really good with the sound effects.
Yep.
But it is going to deliver some storms that you can see. Things are already firing off for us today. Notice our temperatures are in the mid-upper 80s for us. Sioux Falls topping out at 90 degrees. So the heat is still there. And you'll get a little break when you get some of these clouds or maybe even showers to rumble through. There's some stronger ones into the UP, and also as you look south of Duluth, all of this dropping across the lakes as we head into the evening hours. It's not super potent, but it is going to give us some bigger storms, even as we head into our Thursday here into Wisconsin and Illinois. So if you get caught under one of these boomers, you're going to be like, that was a big storm, Abrams, and I agree. This is what's left of that first system just lingering on the coast. Yesterday, major issues with the airports in the Northeast. This is all moving out fairly quickly, so by the afternoon, it will clear the coast. And so I don't think we're going to have as many issues. We do have a couple flash flood warnings for you. Charlottesville is one of those. That is until 9 o'clock in the morning. We still have a few more showers to get through, but 64 is definitely tough going. And 81 is tough going, but things will be getting better as this is really the last of it that's pulling on through. I-95 is wet. There's your boundary. You can, it has a pretty clear delineation here. There's your clouds, and then you've got the sunshine behind it here. No problems for us as we go through the day. Even beautiful Buffalo, Pittsburgh in the 80s. Again, morning showers along the coast, and then we will see that system that I was just kind of previewing in the Midwest for you. That also does get into the Northeast, and again, not super abundant with the thunderstorms, but we certainly could see some of them passing on through for us as we go into our Thursday evening and afternoon. Reynolds.
All right, new rain in the old
Videos like that. Let's hope we don't see any, but seems like every year we get them, right? All right, let's talk about tropics because we have some fireworks going off here. Over the next 7 days, there's a 40% chance of development. And the big question is, where exactly does that spin start? Is it straddling the state of Florida, which makes it harder, versus being over the ocean, which, of course, fuels these storms? So this is what we're going to be following. Here's a look at the euro. The euro does have some higher chances here, going up 40, 50+%. But again, notice, is it going to be too close to the coast? It could be a tropical depression, could be a subtropical depression. We have a front that's coming down. And by the way, that's low pressure. It's just kind of stretched out. And along those fronts, we can see development. Water temperatures, they're warm enough here. All we need them is really 80 or higher to get a little spin going in the atmosphere. Next name storm is Chantal. Now, this might not necessarily be Chantal. It could be a tropical depression, which wouldn't give it a name. It would be Chantal if it was a tropical storm. And we do get development off the East Coast around this time. So let's have a look. Here's our boundary that's coming down. We already have energy in the atmosphere. This comes down, and you're going to see a little spin. Look at this energy here. Try to develop as we go over the weekend, and then there's a bigger piece of energy coming back in. The models also right now with that don't have it very wet. So it might be like a nothing burger type of a thing, but still could kick up the waves and cause some erosion. The GFS has a little bit stronger and a little bit farther south. Notice there it is coming in and kind of going to the Carolinas into our Monday. So it's something we're going to keep a very close eye on. I think it's really kind of a good time to look at all your supplies and see what you need. Rainfall into Florida for us here, and we have two areas to watch here. Flossie, which is quite an impressive Cat 3 right now, but it has low shear and moisture. It's going to be running into some dry air and some cooler water temperatures. So though Flossie doesn't look super great right now, doesn't have quite an eye, it is going to continue to fall apart as it runs into that drier air and also these cooler water temperatures for us here, of course, propagating waves out to Mexico. We do have some moisture from this system, though, and just other thunderstorms. But you can see majority of Flossie's moisture here is just offshore. Reynolds.
All right.
Here, our area to watch. The percentage has gone up to 40% off the southeast. We're going to let you know, will it get even higher? This is America's Morning Headquarters. I'm meteorologist Stephanie Abrams alongside meteorologist Jordan Steele and Reynolds Wolf.
Yeah, good morning, everybody. Either way, even if it doesn't go up, Florida is in for repeated downpours, the potential for flash flooding, not just through the weekend. Reynolds, we can see this in the next week, too.
Correct. Mondo is certainly going to be possible. It could throw a wrench into your 4th of July celebrations or your trip to the beach and to the theme parks. But there's some good news. Good news is the rest of the country doesn't look all that bad over the next several days. But still, yeah, we're going to let you know which storms could impact your travel, maybe your outdoor plans.
Okay.
Let's do it.
Sounds
But
good.
first, we are going to take you into Atlanta.